Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Brad Sugars on the line, and he's CEO and founder over at Action Coach Business Coaching. Brad, welcome to the show.
Hey, good day. Good to be here.
All right, Brad. So correct me if I'm off. I know we met recently. Was that our first time meeting in person? We were at the Jetson Capital event over in Las Vegas. Was that our first time in person?
I think in person, because these days, I don't know. We just don't seem to get to do a lot of in-person stuff.
I'm like, you're taller in person, man. Towering. Well, so, hey, while I have you on the line, what did you think about the event, man? It was pretty slick, right?
It was great. You know, the unfortunate part of the president coming to town having to move it to the next day because he took over the airport, but it was great fun. I got to see the new Honda Jet, which I've been looking to see one of them for quite some time, so that was fun.
Awesome. Well, let's dive right in here today. So I do want to go further into Action Coach, so maybe just to start off by telling us a little bit more about the company and the business and what you do.
Yeah, well, we started business coaching about 31 years ago, and now offices in 83 countries, working with business people, business owners, coaching, training, helping them become better business people, whether that's a better salesperson, a better business owner, a better executive. But we work with those business people and business owners to help them get more profits ultimately by building them so they can build it.
How did you get into that business? Did you know, like, pretty quickly that this was going to be a match for you? Because, you know, to be 3 decades in, you obviously love what you do. How do you, know that was going to be your thing?
I was attending a seminar with Robert Kiyosaki back before he was crazy famous with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and we were talking on business, and he asked me to come and speak in Hawaii. I was successful young, and one of the things about creating a good business when you're young is people are like, how did you do it? You know, you're too young to have had success. So he put me on stage in Hawaii, and I'm like, hang on, this is fun. I get to teach. I get to travel. I get paid to teach and paid to travel. And so I sort of fell in love with the teaching side of it. But what ended up happening from there is that I really had to learn how to not just teach it, but then people would come and ask, can you help me? Can you help me? And I'm like, I don't have time. I'm running my own companies, plus I'm doing these speaking things. I said, well, maybe if you call me every week, I can coach you on how to do some of this stuff. And here we are 31 years later, having a lot of fun coaching business people.
Man, that's amazing. How many countries you say you're in?
83 we have offices in today. So we're about 11.
Does that blow your mind? Does that blow your mind to look back and be like, wow?
I always knew we would, and I set a goal about 18 years ago. I worked at McDonald's in 119 countries, so I set a goal of being in 120. And just to be one more than McDonald's sort of thing. But it's kind of crazy to think that this young kid from Australia can go and create this amazing business that people want. But when you're doing the right work, people want to be a part of it. You know, I wrote our vision of world abundance through business re-education, where it's about creating an abundant planet by re-educating business people. Because if you save one business at a time, and you help that business grow economically, it creates the more effect. More jobs, which means more customers, which means more jobs for other businesses, which means more customers. And the spiral up effect is very big part of it. When people are investing and confident and employing and growing, then everybody benefits from it. So that vision of world abundance has really helped me build an amazing team that see it the way I do, where we get to help people every day of our lives either build their dreams or save their dreams in some cases. And then we get to work with CEOs who run massive companies, and we coach them on how to build that. It's so much fun to do these things.
Yeah. And I want to get a little bit into your methodology a bit here. And I know there's only so much we can cover in one podcast episode. And you got volumes of content and videos and things. And I know that there's one in particular that is complimentary that you'll be offering to our audience today as well. So for everybody, the big success starter. So we'll get into that as well. But I guess just let's talk about maybe your success formula. I want to make sure I'm wording this right. The success formula overall and how you define that.
Yeah, so over the years, I've had to learn how to teach what it is that we do. And so I developed formulas for things because I think it's easier for people if they can put it on a napkin, they can understand it, and they can generally do it type thing. So it's a pretty simple 5-step formula. I'll give it straight up and then I'll explain it. Yep. It's dreams, times goals, times learning, times plans, times action equals success. Dream, goal, learn, plan, act. If I go backwards a step, what that looks like is that W. Somerset Maugham said it best, nothing if not at first a dream. So you want to build that dream of things. And a lot of people struggle with dreaming, as you're probably aware. So I sort of teach them to do the opposite. Well, what don't you want? Okay, write that down in a list. Now, what's the opposite of that? I don't want to be broke. Okay, what's the opposite of that? I want to have this. But once we've created dreams, which are like 10 to 20 years out, and the word how is the killer of most dreams. Most people are like, well, how will I do that? How will I do that? Forget how for the moment. How kills dreams, because the reality is if you set the goal or set the dream, by definition, you don't know how. The fact that it is a dream and the fact that it is a goal tells us 100% that you don't know how to do that. So then what you've got to do is take that dream 10 to 20 years out and turn the closer ones into goals. Anything inside 5 years needs a goal. And I'll always say the most important goal is the daily goal. If you don't have goals every day, and we teach everyone to write them down in the afternoon, before you finish work, before you go home, write down what you're doing the next day. I actually started that, buddy, when I was struggling to leave work at work. So I created a way of leaving work at work by writing everything down. And I noticed my productivity went up about 30% by doing that. So I was like, all right, let's keep doing that. So the next thing that we look at from the goals, and that's, obviously with the specific, measurable, achievable, results-oriented time frame, the old SMART test, but get your goals documented, but get them as granular as you can in as many areas as you can. Because from your goal, we then determine what you got to learn. And this is where I think a lot of people fail in achieving success, is they are not graceful enough with themselves to give themselves time to learn. They set the goal and they expect to achieve it within a week. I want to double my sales. Great. How many books do you think you're going to need to read on doubling your sales before you'll double your sales? How many podcasts you got to listen to? How many courses? What coaching do you need? What do you need to be able to learn in order to do that? If I said the goal was to run a marathon, you would know you're not going to run it tomorrow. You would know that you have to actually study, learn, train, practice, all of that sort of thing, if that makes sense. And so I think it's important for us to understand that. Now, on the flip side of that, once you've done the learning, then you do the planning. And a lot of people, again, they do the learning, go straight to work. No, you haven't done enough learning unless you can document the plan. If you can document the plan, then you've done enough learning. If you can't document a plan, you haven't yet done enough learning. So from the learning, you develop the plan. From the plan, you take action.
And looking at the formula overall, and like how many people, as you've gone through this, because you've been doing this a long time, just trying to get a roundabout, like how many people have gone through these programs?
Oh, buddy,
I know it's a ton. I know I'm not trying to be loaded there. I just want it to be like, credit. I got to give credit where credit's due. That's the thing.
We've done $2.5 billion in revenue over the years of running our company. We've had hundreds of thousands. We have more than 20,000 clients on our database, the active one-to-one weekly coaching clients right now. So there's probably hundreds of thousands in our training programs right now. I could pull all that data for you one day. But
No, I don't need it exact, but I just like to, because sometimes when you hear something like how you just now gave those steps, but there's something else behind it when you see it working, and it's been working for decades, and you're building on it, and you continue to build on it. Like, you got to give credit where credit's due, man. You're helping a lot of people, and you mentioned something just now, and I don't want to assume everybody knows this. So talk about the concept of one-on-one mentorship and why you went that route with this and why it's so effective.
When I first started, I was doing training programs, weekend trainings, short trainings, coaching. And after about 2 years, and I got to say this, I was one of those business owners that believed in the hustle and grind. I wore it as a badge of honor that I was working way too much. And I'd even brag about working 6 days a week and sleeping in my office some days, And I had to realize that, no, it's all about effectiveness. And my definition of a business changed. I now teach it as a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you. Therefore, it's a saleable and scalable operation. If I'm there, it's not saleable and it's not scalable. So I had to learn what worked for me, but I also went and looked at all of our customers and said, what got them the results? And the biggest results are those who are on one-to-one coaching programs and group education programs that ran over a period of at least 12 weeks.
Mm.
And so that's sort of where I put my focus in saying that. And there's 4 reasons really what we do works. We call it CARE: community, accountability, results, and education. So community is important. Business owners, business people need a community of people that work together with them to succeed together. It's a lonely road running your own business. And so if we can build a community of those people and they can learn with and from and together, I think that's important. Second, accountability. Every business owner, especially SMEs, has a big problem in that they're the owner and the CEO. And so they don't do a good job at either, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then the results, a results focus, measurement of the numbers, planning, measurement, knowing exactly what we're doing, how we're doing it, all of that sort of thing is of very much importance. And then finally is really about making sure that we get them the education that they need. And education today for us is always in bite-sized chunks. We make sure that what we're looking to do is, and today most of our programs run for 12 weeks as the education programs, like a sales training or a management training. You know, most companies have managers that have never been trained how to manage. And they wonder why. And they say, well, just be a leader. Well, hang on. If you're not managing, leadership's impossible. If you don't have a leadership framework, leadership's impossible. So, you know, we'll have them watch a video for half an hour and then come into a facilitated learning where they talk about what did I learn? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? How will I implement it? And then the next week it's how did you implement? What were those mistakes you made? What did you do well? So it's really about implementing as you go, those bite-sized chunks. So that's really a big reason I said, what is the most effective? And we'll do that.
Brett, how do you define wealth?
I was lucky enough to learn about wealth from a guy that taught me that wealth is really about what he determined as the number of days forward. Meaning, if I stopped working today, how many days forward could I live without working another day? Like, do I have passive income? Do I have investment income? Do I have income that comes from, it's like for me, I've written 18 books. I go to bed, some books sell overnight. By the morning, I've made money while I was sleeping. And so that's the financial side of it, is that it's about learn it, earn it, return it. But if you've got to learn to make it, you've got to learn to make it actively, and then you've got to learn to make it while you sleep. You know, in your 20s, if you're not sleeping, you should be working. In your 30s, you should be making money while you sleep. And then in your 40s, you should be living off of only the money you make while you sleep, sort of thing. If you do financials correctly, that's the way it should be. Now, the flip side of that of you know, wealth is that there's a wealth in all areas of life. You know, some people say, well, you know, you can't be happy and rich. No. I'm an and person, not an or person. I like thinking that, you know, we can do all of the above. We don't have to just do one or the other.
Yeah, I'm definitely an and person as well. And I like that you say that because, and even just some of the methodologies and how you're planning, like there's things that sometimes people are missing information and sometimes it's a tweak here, a tweak there. There's some other things that they didn't know that once they know can make all the difference. So that's why one of my favorite parts about doing this show, actually, Brad, is I get to learn from people like you all day long. I love it. It's free. It's free counseling. I'm in. No.
I'll send you the invoice later. No. Learning is a massive. If anyone ever says to me, what's the secret to success? I said, there's no secret to success. There's just books you haven't read yet. Or people you haven't met yet, or those sorts of things. And I think that's one of the aspects that people have to learn, is the ability to do that.
What is the 90 days to revolutionize your life? What's that all about, that program?
Oh, buddy, during COVID, I got bored. So I built myself a TV studio, which I could run myself. And I had someone build it all for me. And I would go in, and for 30 days, I taught everything I knew on business. Then the next 30 days, everything on life and success.
Wow.
And how the formulas for that. And then the next 30 days, I did wealth. And I did. So it's like 90 days.
What was that like for you, that process of it? Was it a little cathartic? I mean, just to go through all the, like, you know, I know you're normally pretty busy, to be able to do all that. What was that like for you?
Well, I turned 50. So, yes, it was very cathartic, thinking, okay, I'm 50. The world's going to end.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, wow, to get to like the crowbar all that info out of your head. No, I'm just like...
It was like that, you know. It's like, I'm 50, the world's ending. Let me at least record everything I know.
Oh my God!
And do it that way. So it did feel a little that way. I mean, that's a big part of what I was doing. But It mostly did, and this is why it took so long, because it's a half an hour a day of learning. I say you just have lunch with me every day. And if you and I have lunch every day, then by the end of 90 days, you've totally changed the way you're thinking. And if it totally changed the way you're thinking, then you're totally changing the outcome of your life. And that to me is really what it's about. If I can in 90 days change what you think is possible, because, success is a big word. And I like to think, what if you just if all you committed to your success was to have lunch with Brad Sugars for 90 days, if that's all you did, come hang for 90 days, have lunch or breakfast, or I don't care when you watch it, but you jump online and watch it for 90 days. And at the end of that period, you and I change the way you think. That to me is really important.
Yeah, that's the game changer. To me, that's the difference right there. It's like that when they talk about your network and the people you're around and how you kind of assimilate and go towards each other in that same network. So when you talk about reaching up or what you're doing, that's amazing. That's amazing. So and thank you for going through that process, because I know that's not easy to put together all those programs. You're like, what? This is one of the benefits though, right?
It's been amazing because just the emails I get every day.
Yeah, I already
from
know.
People. And, we touched on the formula for success there for like 5 minutes or so, but actually spending a whole half hour on that, how you do it, why this works, why that works, doing all the things, that to me is what makes it so much fun. And yeah.
Amazing. So Brad, to close us out, I want to do two things here. One, I want you to maybe give an overview. I know for the audience, you have a free giveaway for them, the Big Success Starter. And I want you to maybe go over that. And then in general, how do people follow up and how do they connect and how do they learn more if they want to engage and learn maybe what it takes to be a coach, what it takes to go through a program? Like, give us a little bit more of just how people can follow up too.
2 websites, very simple, bradsugars.com, and sugars like it's like the sweet stuff. And actioncoach.com if they want to meet the coach or they want to become a coach and come join our organization, then that would be a great thing too.
Fantastic. And then the Big Success Starter, talk a little bit about that. I know people can grab that.
Yeah, it's very simply, I just grabbed 12 subjects that is sort of if you want to have a great year sort of thing, these are the 12 things. They're between 8 and 10 minutes each. So you just 12 of those, get in, get started, kickstart your year, make it the best year ever, watch, learn, act on it, do it. It's free because, it's a big part of my life is to help people succeed. And if you love it, share it with all your friends, share it with your family, and get started on having an amazing year.
Fantastic. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some of those links in the show notes so that you can just click on the links and head right on over and check out Brad and his programs. And speaking to the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Brad, man, finally got you on the show. Thanks so much for coming on.
It's fantastic, Adam. I've been a fan for a long time. I finally got to be on here. I love it how timing works at the right time.